Hello and welcome. Let's join entertainment entrepreneur Nigel Cecil.
Hello, Chakabatis. Nigel Cecil here. Roundtree Gossamer Productions Inc. Responding to emails sent in by my friends in Equity. And they suggested that Nigel, moi, ought to be rebranded, and at the same time, Equity should be rebranded as well, shouldn't it, Hillary? Yes, I'll tell you what, well, for Hillary, we've got a Granny Smith's. Want to know why? Keep watching, and Hillary, run a little bit of the rebranding, will you, of Nigel? Thank you.
Nigel Cecil, Equity. Nigel Cecil, Equity.
Well, Chakabatis, what do you think of that little extract from the rebranding? Now, obviously, I have to explain how we've got where we are today so you can understand my illogical, logical thinking. I mean, they think I'm illogical, don't they, Hillary? Yes, well, firstly, normally you always say, know your target audience. But we had to assume our target audience this time because Nigel started giving his advice some time ago. In fact, it was during the Equity elections, and quite hurriedly we started expressing opinions on behalf of those members who felt they didn't have a voice. Didn't have a voice? Yes, because you see, the Equity Council is elected by probably less than 3 or 4% of the whole membership, but they only promote their view. You don't see the transparency of full discussions going on. It's not like a government, a democratic government, where you've got the government, you've got the opposition, and there's full debate and transparency of what's being discussed. All that Equity does, and understandably within a trade union, because you're all supposed to be united together. Yes, they only promote their view. So there are members who say, oi, we don't like what the council's doing, but how do we tell everybody else? Extremely difficult. So Nigel was asked to start, and things you have to be aware of, if you're expressing a different view, then the typical activist, left, right, or even in the centre, will always look to ignore you, because if they sort of say, oi, I don't like what you're saying, it makes you more important. So rule number 1 is ignore Nigel.
Nigel Cecil, Equity. Nigel Cecil, Equity.
Rule number 2, no matter how insignificant or trivial, find some sort of nebulous complaint which you can make against moi, against Nigel. Because if you can make some sort of complaint, you can make it look as though Nigel is in the wrong, as though I'd be in the wrong, Hillary.
Nigel Cecil, Equity. Nigel Cecil, Equity.
So Nigel has to be very careful what moi actually says. Like, I don't use the new Equity logo. Why? Because the new Equity logo, love it or hate it, Hillary, yes, is registered as a business mark. So somebody could complain and say, oi, you're using that Equity logo and you've not actually got written permission. So I use the old logo, which some people like better than the new one, because it's not registered anywhere as such. It's in the public domain. So there we go. Now that brings us to the point then. You have to be aware as somebody's going to complain. And it's like Hillary told me about the apples. Now you see, Hillary said, if Hillary says, well, I like gala apples, and I like Pink Lady are nice, Hillary, or Golden Delicious, but Hillary doesn't like Granny Smiths. Now, if Hillary, within Equity, which is supposed to have safe spaces, was to say, excuse me, I don't actually like Granny Smith's apples. Now, in saying that, is Hillary being an appleist?
Equity safe spaces. Nigel wasn't gender neutral.
Guilty of appleism, you see. So if I say something that doesn't agree with the council majority, am I being an equitist? Am I being somehow guilty of equitism? And that's why we have to be careful. You think we're being a bit stupid probably, but no, it's because we do have to be careful. So I need to check out my unconscious apple bias or my unconscious equity bias, don't I? And talking of bias, let's carry on with the next bit of the rebranding.
Nigel Cecil, equity as you like it.
As you like it, as you like it. Touching a little bit on the Shakespeare, are we? Just to make everybody feel included. Because that's the whole idea with Nigel. I'm not trying to create division. I'm trying to express opinions that will stimulate debate and bring everybody together. Something that seems to be lacking in equity at the moment. So I hope we are going to achieve that with the rebranding and the voice and the colours. I hope you like them and you consider them more inclusive, more welcoming. So let's have the final bit, which is meant to be a sort of a tagline, an extra tagline. Give the full version, Hilary.
Nigel Cecil, equity as you like it.
Especially for my equitable friends. My equitable friends. And to show how equitably inclusive we all are, I've even got my Granny Smith's apple to have a bite. Yes, I have the pink lady for you, Hilary. A pink lady. And can I speak with my mouth full? May I? Yes, of course. Delicious. And next time on the video, I'll be using the same principles to rebrand equity. And if you'd like to get in touch, an easier email address, nigel.cecil@outlook.com. Until then, I hope it's a hot, sunny, apple-eating, appetizing day with you. Enjoy, and thank you for joining me, my equitable friends.
Nigel Cecil, equity as you like it.
Especially for my equitable friends.